Can wide receiver Donte Thornton Jr. avoid the sophomore slump in 2026 with the Raiders? Let's talk about it.
Bring some pressure.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy D-Nice with I2G Radio, back at it again with another Las Vegas Raiders podcast. Urge everyone, as always, to like, comment, and subscribe on I2G Radio. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I2G Radio, letter I, number 2, letter G, Radio. We are also on YouTube, the Viva Las Raiders podcast. Word Viva, word Las, and word Raiders with an S. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone that has been checking out the Quiddy Pay pod that we did post on Viva Las Raiders on YouTube, nearing almost 600 views here within the last couple of days. So big ups to everyone that has been commenting, also sharing the video. Much appreciated. We're really trying to build out that YouTube channel. So for my YouTube folks that like to get the content there on YouTube, check us out, Viva Las Raiders. This is also on hip hop site, www.illuminati2g.com. So be sure to check that out as well. All right, let's get right into it. So, Donte Thornton Jr., guy within the nation that had a lot of hype coming out of Tennessee. Now going into year 2, had a rough rookie year to say the least. At the start of the year, looks like it was going to be our starting X-receiver, and kind of fell, I don't know if you want to say out of grace or just out of the rotation. Last year he had 10 receptions, 135 yards, 13.5 yards per reception. Just was very quiet there towards the middle and second half of the season. Really had almost virtually no snaps. He did have suffer a concussion in one of the games. But like I said, all in all, just kind of a tough rookie year for Donte Thornton Jr. Also had some key drops. One of the big drops was basically was a walk-in touchdown against the Chicago Bears that he didn't call in. But I notice a lot, especially with fans, are quick, especially with high drafted players, to kind of throw them away, year 1 or year 2 or even a little bit further into their progression into the league. Just want to talk a little bit about kind of the intangibles that I see with Donte Thornton and where I think he can kind of equate and move forward now in Clint Kubiak's offense here with the Raiders. So obviously, the intangibles: 6'5", 205 pounds, tall, rangy wide receiver. 4'2", 40. Everyone gave the the intangibles about him. Only Calvin Johnson and Randy Moss at that height, weight, speed were able to run that fast of a 40 time. And I think a lot of people had just kind of instantly put him into that kind of that superstardom role right into his rookie year. And one thing I definitely would like to see with Donte Thornton moving forward, improve route running. Definitely would like to see him put on some weight, maybe get around to that 215, 220 range, so he can shed kind of the smaller corners, but also be able to kind of block out and post up for those back shoulder fades and the 50-50 balls in the red zone as well. I think that extra weight will help him out as well. But he can definitely be an X factor in this offense for Clint Kubiak. Kubiak did mention him in his presser, saying he wants him to be a big time X factor and weapon moving forward. And I obviously think he can. He can definitely take the top off of the defense. I think if he can kind of work on his short to intermediate routes, especially in the red zone, he can become a big-time red zone threat with Brock Bowers. But right now, he's raw and he's unpolished. And Jack Besh, I think, will be starting on one side. What the Raiders do in the free agency realm here at this point. Do you bring in a Jawan Jennings and start him opposite? And he's kind of your, ex wide receiver, kind of temporarily in the meantime. Do you draft, say like a Boston from Washington, or maybe a Malachi Fields, or there's many different kind of routes that the Raiders could take with this, but I think they do need kind of one more tall, big body wide receiver to really round out this receiving room. I think really with Clint Kubiak's offense uses a lot of motion, quick passing. That's where you want to have those guys, those yardage guys, can take a slant and take an additional 15, 20 yards to really open up the defense. Jalen Naylor is one of those guys, I think, but he's more kind of a smaller slot receiver. Trey Tucker as well, smaller slot receiver. But you could have Besh and you could have Tucker, both of them on the outside. That's a little bit more of a smaller wide receiver, starting wide receiver 1 and 2. That's where the Donte Thornton really comes in. Some people are saying he could possibly be cut. I don't see that happening. I know he is training with Troy Franklin, wide receiver from the Denver Broncos, who's had a phenomenal couple years in the league. Being able to pair him with Bo Nix, just to start out his, as they were teammates in Oregon, has really helped out his game and has blossomed his game a lot. And, I think he's going to come in super focused, focusing on improving his catching ability. Again, I would like to see him put on, possibly 10, 15 pounds of muscle, and just concentrate on, jug machine and help with his catches and work on his route running. I think Kubiak is going to find some way to get him involved in the offense. Now, am I saying he's going to get, 80 receptions and 1,500 yards receiving? No, nothing like that. But, if he can even come in and give you 400 or 500 yards, 4 or 5 touchdowns, make those improvements and make himself, where you have to account for him. You have to account for him regardless with the speed, height, weight, speed, but to really make the defenses pay and not accounting for him at all times. You can get a couple good touchdowns on that with all of this speed and with all of these intangibles that they have at the wide receiver position. I understand it's a very young room. Again, I would still like to see them possibly go after Jawan Jennings, depending if the price is right, or address that in the draft coming up with a bigger body wide receiver along with Thornton. And then this room, I think it really rounds out the room as a whole and is going to make them a deadly combo to work with, especially with the play action that's going to set up, improved offensive line. You still have Bowers, you still have Mayer, you still have Ashton Genty. That's a lot of weapons, and you can't have too many weapons out there on the field and options for whoever is going to be that next quarterback. Pray it's Fernando Mendoza. All right, that's all that I have as far as for this short here on Donte Thornton. I still think he can be an X factor here for the Raiders. Just needs to make improvements, and I think he will do that in year 2 coming up. Again, the site, www.illuminati2g.com. You can also check us out, I2G Radio, letter I, number 2, letter G Radio, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Again, if you haven't yet already, like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Viva Las Raiders. Word Viva, word Las, last word Raiders with an S. D-Nice I2G Radio signing off. I'm going to be having another one of these coming up with DJ Reader and possible improvements or players that the Raiders could look at possibly in the draft or that are left in free agency to help out that defensive line. Again, I think DJ Reader would definitely be a good pickup here for the Raiders, but that will be our next pod coming up here on the Raiders side of things. D-Nice I2G Radio signing off. Peace.